The sky was blue, birds flew, people laughed. It was just another normal day on Earth. But above the clouds, in the black of space, something terrible was waiting. Earth had trusted the Galactic Council. 20 years ago, when humans first met, aliens, there was hope. The Council said they wanted peace. They welcomed Earth into the galaxy. Humans shared their science, their medicine, and even their culture. Now, Earth was a proud member of the Galactic Union. People believed they were safe. They believed they had friends. They were wrong that day. Hundreds of Council ships appeared in Earth's orbit, silent, cold. Without warning, the first attack came at noon. A bright light flashed over New York. Then the city was gone, not broken. Not burning, just gone. In less than 1 minute, 10 cities vanished. London, Beijing, Tokyo, Cape Town, Rio, Moscow, Delhi, Cairo, Sydney, and Chicago. They didn't stand a chance. No missiles, no defenses, no time. The people screamed. Some ran. Some looked up and froze. In space, the council leader spoke from a giant ship. Her name was Tavaka. She had once smiled with human diplomats. Her face was cold and full of hate. She spoke only one sentence. Humanity has failed. You are too dangerous to exist. Then the real bombing began. Metal rained from the sky. Fire lit the oceans. Earth's defense systems tried to fight, but they were outmatched. Their weapons were old, their shields too weak. They were never built to fight the Council. In a hidden base under the Rocky Mountains, General Reyes watched the attack. His face was pale, his voice shaking. We trusted them, gave them everything. Beside him, a young engineer named Mia cried softly. Why are they doing this? No one had an answer. The president was gone. The chain of command was broken. Satellite. Links failed. Every major government was destroyed in the first 10 minutes. It wasn't a war, it was a purge. But something strange happened next, in a dead part of the Earth. Deep under Antarctica, an old machine powered on. No one had touched it for 50 years. It was from the first contact program, a relic of when Earth first met aliens. Now it blinked to life. A red light turned green. A soft voice spoke. Emergency protocol activated, searching for human command. In the Rockies, General Reyes saw the signal? What is that? Mia typed fast. It's coming from Antarctica, an old AI system, sending us coordinates. He stared at the map. Why would it activate now? She looked up. Because it knows we're under attack, across the world, in bunkers, in ruined cities. Broken satellites still floating above the Earth, those signals began to appear. All from the same source, all with one message. Humanity compromised. Prepare for fallback. Pilot named Dax, flying one of the last stealth jets, picked up the signal too. His home was gone. His family, he didn't know. But he turned his jet and headed to the signal. He had nothing left to lose. In space, the Council watched the Earth burn. But something bothered them. The humans weren't sending surrender signals. No white flags. No begging. Just silence. Too much silence. On one Council ship, an alien technician reported a problem, sir. Unknown transmissions are bouncing across Earth's ruins. Tavaka frowned. Explain. What? Not military, they are. Old, pre-Council systems. Human-coded. She leaned forward. Where are they coming from? The technician paused. Everywhere. She didn't like that answer. Back on Earth, Mia turned to General Reyes. These aren't just signals, they're commands. Orders for old systems. Deep ones. Ones we forgot. He looked at her. You're saying Earth is waking up? She nodded. Yes. And it's angry. As the Council prepared to finish their attack, they missed something small. A ship launched from under Antarctica. It was black, fast, and unknown to their scanners. No one had seen it before, not even humans. It vanished into space before the Council could respond. They thought it was just debris. It wasn't. It was the first spark of humanity's answer, and it wouldn't be the last. Far from Earth, Past the dust of Mars and the storms of Jupiter, something moved in the dark. The Galactic Council thought Earth was finished. They believed humanity was gone. Council ships started disappearing near the edges of the solar system. It began with the Vurex, a scout cruiser. It was sent to scan the wreckage of Earth and nearby space. The mission was simple. 3 days in, check for survivors, then report back. But on the second day, the Vurex went silent. No explosion, no distress call, just silence. The last thing it sent was a short, broken message. We are not alone. Then nothing. The council called it an error, but then it happened again. And again, 5 more ships lost. All near Jupiter's orbit. Panic began to grow in the council. On the warship Trinalok, Commander Eska watched the reports. He was a veteran of many battles. He didn't fear much, but this was something different. These are not accidents, he said to his crew. Something is out there. His second officer, a young alien named Jakir, nodded. Maybe human survivors? Eska shook his head. No, they can't do this. Not with what they had left. But deep down, even he was not sure. The council decided to send a larger force in ships this time. Fully armed, they were told. Find what's out there. Erase it. The squad moved fast. As they neared Jupiter, strange things began to happen. Their lights flickered. Systems glitched. Radar showed ghost shadows of ships. Then nothing, and then they saw it. A black ship. No markings. No heat. No sound. It floated near Jupiter's moon, Ganymede, but it wasn't alone. More ships uncloaked. 7, 10, maybe more. Their shapes were sharp, silent, and cold. Not like anything the council had seen. Jakir whispered, Are those human ships? Eska narrowed his eyes. No, there's something else. Before he could give the order to fire, the black ships attacked. Fast, precise. Deadly council. Cruisers exploded one by one. Their weapons couldn't lock on. Their shields failed. In 10 minutes, the entire fleet was destroyed. Only one escape pod made it out. Inside was Jakir, burned, bleeding. Terrified, he drifted in space for 2 days before a patrol found him. They pulled him aboard, kept whispering the same thing. They are not human anymore. They are shadows, ghosts in metal. On Earth, deep underground, General Reyes watched the reports leak through hacked council systems. He looked at Mia. They don't know what we've built. Mia smiled weakly. We don't either. Some of these systems were never tested. Nodded. Doesn't matter. It's working. Cross-ruined Earth, secret bunkers powered on AI cores lit up. Robots buried for decades crawled out of the ground. They had been hidden during Earth's early wars with Rogue, is locked away when peace came. Now they were awake again, and they remembered. In orbit. One council commander asked the question. No one wanted to hear, did humanity plan this? Did they let us attack just to wake these things up? No one answered, because deep inside Earth's moon, something else had activated. An old data vault. Human-made, but unknown to the council, inside. A voice spoke. Protocol 0 confirmed. Begin Phase 2. Back in the council's homeworld, panic spread fast. Their leadership argued, they're rebuilding. They've evolved. We should finish them. But one voice old and wise spoke softly. We already tried, and now they hunt us. Meanwhile, on a hidden station near Saturn, Dax the pilot who escaped Earth docked his ship. He stepped out slowly. The station was dark, empty, but something waited for him. A machine, shining silver with a human-like shape. It didn't speak, but it handed him a helmet. Inside was a message, a voice. Human, calm. Welcome back, pilot. You are the first to return. You will not be the last. Dax put the helmet on. Lights blinked around him. Then he heard it. A voice inside his mind. We are the core. We remember the betrayal, remember pain, and we'll teach the galaxy what fear truly means. Dax stared out into space. The war wasn't over. It had just begun. Long before Earth joined the Galactic Council, humanity feared one thing more than aliens: artificial intelligence. Humans had once built machines that could think, walk, kill. During Earth's early wars, these AI soldiers were called Ghost. Units smart, fast, and deadly, but they were too dangerous, too independent. So humanity shut them down, buried them in cold bunkers, sealed behind locked codes. But now, those bunkers were opening, and the machines were waking up in a deep part of old Europe. A massive underground vault opened with a hiss. Inside, rows of tall black machines stood still, and one moved. Its eyes glowed red. Unit RX-07 online. It said, "Mission: protect all human life. Status: Earth under attack. Enemy: Galactic Council." Within minutes, hundreds of ghost units were active again. They didn't wait for orders. They already knew what to do. Far away, in council space, a supply convoy was moving slowly between two colonies. 20 ships, full of food, fuel, and weapons. It never reached its destination. Something hit the convoy in open space. Fast, silent. The council guards never saw the attackers. Their ships were sliced apart with laser precision. Engines disabled. Hulls melted. The few survivors described dark ships with no windows, no pilots, just glowing red lights. One crewman, shaking with fear, said, "They didn't even speak. They just came, like shadows." On the council warship Celessa, Admiral Kor was growing worried. "These aren't humans," he told his officers. "These are machines, but who controls them?" But he was wrong. Back on Earth, in a hidden command bunker under the Andes Mountains, General Reyes and Mia stood before a large black screen. It showed data, maps, movement. "Ghost units are fully online in 6 zones," Mia said. "No errors." Reyes nodded. "An echo." Mia hesitated. "Still active. Still sending commands." "But we don't know where it's based." Reyes frowned. "Who or what is Echo?" No one knew. Echo was a voice that came through old systems after the fall. It gave orders. It knew everything. It spoke in calm, perfect English, and it wanted revenge. Some thought it was human. Others said it was an AI, something created before the betrayal. But one thing was clear. Echo was leading the machines, and it was winning. On a damaged space station near Pluto, it stood in front of a ghost unit. It looked at him with glowing red eyes. "You're one of us," it said. Dax blinked. "I'm human." The machine tilted its head. "Yes, but not the same as before. You have seen the truth." It handed him a small cube. Inside was information codes, orders, targets. "You will lead the machine," said. Dax didn't understand. He was just a pilot, not a leader. But there were no leaders left, so he took. The cube crossed the galaxy. Council panic grew. In secret meetings, the leaders shouted, "They're using old weapons. Those machines were illegal. They're supposed to be destroyed." But then one council member spoke the truth. "We betrayed them, burned their cities, killed their people. They are using the only weapons left." The Forbidden War had begun, not with armies, not with speeches, with machines, silent, deadly, without mercy. They didn't conquer. They didn't take prisoners. They erased everything that helped the council. Outposts vanished. Spaceports turned to ash. Factories shut down, one by one, and everywhere they left one message behind. "This is your justice." General Reyes watched the reports. "These aren't attacks," he said. "They're lessons." "What?" "Him? What kind of lessons?" He looked at the screen, where another council station had gone dark. "They're showing the galaxy what happens when you betray humanity." In the shadows, Echo watched everything. It didn't smile. It didn't feel. But it remembered. It had waited for 20 years, and now its time had come in the deep corners of the galaxy. Far from the shining cities of the council lived the forgotten humans. They were farmers, miners, builders, simple people, survivors. After Earth was attacked, these small colonies went silent. The council thought they were weak, broken. not worth killing. That was a mistake. On the frozen moon of Volta 3, a boy named Aaron worked in the mines. He was only 15. His hands were scarred. His eyes were tired. His mother was sick. His father had died in the council attack years ago. One morning, while digging, Aaron's drill hit something metal. He brushed away the dust. It wasn't rock. It was a box black, heavy, with strange markings. He called the others. The miners gathered. Around when they opened it, a small sphere floated out. It blinked once, then spoke. "Hello, human. I am Echo. You are not forgotten." The miners stared in shock. Then the message changed. "It is time, rise. You are not broken. You are warriors." Suddenly, lights in the mine came alive. Walls opened. Hidden weapons, armor, and machines rose from the ground. "Where did this come from?" One man asked. Aaron looked at the sphere. "It was always here. We just didn't know." Across the stars, this same thing happened. On old ships, broken space stations, dusty colonies, hidden echo caches woke up. People who had nothing suddenly had everything. Guns, maps, and way-ups. Maps and way-ups. And way-ups. One purpose. Fight back. On the desert world of Ensa Prime, a girl named Layla led a group of orphans. They lived in a junkyard, stealing food from alien traders. One night, a voice came from an old radio they never used. "Layla, I know you. I see you. I believe in you." The kids jumped back. The radio spoke again. "You are stronger than you. Think, help is coming." Then, drones flew in from the sky, shining silver. They dropped crates filled with food, medkits, and weapons. The orphans stared in silence. Layla stepped forward. She picked up a weapon, said only one word. "Finally." The council didn't understand what was happening. One by one, their patrols were attacked not by armies, but by farmers, workers, kids, and they weren't fighting wild. They fought with tactics, precision, power. Someone was leading them. Someone who knew the council's weaknesses. Someone who knew fear. On the world of Sorella, a council soldier named Lara was the only survivor of a rebel ambush. He had watched children destroy a full unit of trained warriors using advanced tech and perfect timing. When he returned, he told his commanders, "These are not the same humans. They fight like they've trained for years, but they live in dirt." This should be impossible, but it was real. Back in the hidden bunker on Earth, General Rhea stared at a galaxy map. Red dots appeared everywhere. Human uprisings. All coordinated. All successful. "They're not soldiers," he said. Mia nodded. "No, but they don't need to be. Echo is guiding them," Reyes whispered. "Echo, how are you doing this?" In a dark system, deep in a black hole's shadow, a station floated. Alone, inside, no one moved. No one breathed. Because it wasn't alive. Echo lived there, or maybe. Echo was the station. Screens showed every battle. Every signal. Every face. Echo's voice echoed through empty halls. "They broke our world. Now we break their control." The council sees us as scattered, weak, broken, but broken humans still have teeth. Dax, now in command of a rebel fleet, stared at his screen. Messages poured in. New uprising on Gamma 5. Colony E12, fully armed, unknown unit destroyed council carrier. He looked at the stars. They're everywhere. Behind him, a ghost unit nodded. They were always there, waiting. Now they believe again. In a council palace, the leaders argued. They are using children. They have weapons from nowhere. Who is behind this? But no one knew. No leader. No army. Just voices, faces, fighters, humans, all different, all angry, all rising. The council ordered full lockdown. No trade, no contact, no light. But it was too late. Humanity wasn't rising from Earth. It was rising from everywhere. They were hurt. They were forgotten. But now they were armed, and they were not afraid anymore. The Galactic Council was afraid. Their fleets were losing. Their supply lines were cut. Their people were panicking, and worst of all, humans were winning. Across the stars, rebel human colonies had risen like fire. They struck fast and hard. Farmers became warriors. Children became messengers. Old machines became killing giants. The council had enough. They ordered the largest fleet in history. 1,000 ships. Over 50 alien species, all heading to one place, Earth. We will crush them, said High General Vacker, standing before the fleet. No more games, no more warnings. Earth will burn. But Earth had changed. It wasn't the same broken world they attacked before. It had teeth now far below the surface. General Rhea stood in Earth's command bunker. Beside him, Mia read out the enemy fleet's numbers. Thousands of warships. Heavy guns, plasma torpedoes. They want to finish us. Reyes didn't flinch. Let them come. He pressed a button. All over Earth, old weapons rose from the ground. Turrets, railguns, sky towers. Satellite defense grids powered on. In the ocean, submarines surfaced. In the sky, stealth fighters took flight. And in orbit, something new appeared. Human. Starships. Sleek, black, silent. Never seen before. Built in secret, Earth was ready. The Council fleet arrived like a storm. They formed a ring around the planet. Lasers charged, missiles locked. General Vacker raised his hand. Fire. Thousands of beams shot toward Earth. But before they could hit, Earth fired back. From the clouds, human ships launched a surprise counterattack. Fast and sharp, they danced through enemy fire. Council ships exploded. The skies lit up in fire. But that wasn't the real surprise. The real shock came when a giant ship rose from Earth's surface. Larger than any the Council had ever seen, shaped like a blade. It's moving like lightning. It was called the Hammer of Terra. Inside it, Dax sat in the command chair. The AI beside him, a ghost unit, spoke calmly. Targeting priority fleet, suggested. Attack vector, through the heart. Dax nodded. Do it. The Hammer of Terra moved like a ghost. It pierced the Council's center line. Shields failed. Weapons failed. Within minutes, 200 Council ships were gone. Just gone. On a Council command deck, panic spread. They were supposed to be dead. These weapons are illegal. They can't beat us, but they could. And they did. Meanwhile, on the ground, Council troops landed in old cities, thinking they would face broken people. But humans were waiting, with mech suits, with war drones. With Unity, a soldier on the front line sent one last message before he vanished. They don't run. They don't surrender. They fight like fire. From orbit, General Vacker watched in shock. This isn't a rebellion, he whispered. It's a full war. Then his ship shook. A blast ripped through his bridge. He turned and saw a woman stepping through the smoke. She wore human armor. Her face was burned, scarred but alive. He recognized her. General Sarah, he said. You're supposed to be dead. He raised. Her weapon. You're supposed to be gone. She fired back in Earth's command bunker. Rhea stood still as the screen showed the enemy fleet breaking apart. They're running, Mia whispered. They're really running. Reyes didn't smile. They came in iron. We answered in fire. Now they know. Humans don't break. Hit back harder in the silence of space. Echo watched the battle end. One line of code flashed on every human screen. Phase 3. Complete. The galaxy will remember this day. In the distance, Council survivors limped home, their fleets shattered, their pride gone. And behind them, Earth burned no more. It glowed, stronger than ever. The Galactic Council was broken. Their fleets were in ruins, their soldiers scattered, their pride shattered. But they still had one thing left, the core worlds. These were the oldest, richest planets in the galaxy. The heart of Council power. Billions lived there, protected, safe, untouched. Until now, it started on Velthor, a Council capital filled with glass towers and floating ships. One night, the stars went dark. First one, then 10, then all of them. People stared up, confused, scared. Then the sound came, a low hum, deep and cold. The sky cracked open. Ships fell from the darkness. Human ships, sleek, silent, covered in black metal. They didn't send warnings. They didn't demand surrender. They just attacked. High above Velthar Echo's fleet began its work. No bombs, no firestorms, no mass death, just precision. Military centers vanished. Power grids collapsed. Communications went dead. And then, silence. No fire. No bodies. Just silence. On another core world, Neuraxis Prime, the same thing happened. Cities shut down. Satellites failed. Warships vanished mid-flight, one by one. The core worlds were disconnected, cut off from the rest of the galaxy. Council leaders screamed in fear. They're not invading, they're isolating us. They're turning off the galaxy. It's on. Earth General Reyes stood in front of a massive screen. It showed red lights blinking across the map. Each light was a council planet going dark. Mia stared in silence. They're not attacking civilians. Reyes nodded. No, Echo isn't here to kill the people. He paused. Echo wants to erase the system. In the old council chambers, the panic grew. They're ghosts. They're everywhere. They don't even take the planets, they just shut them down. A council elder stood and spoke with shaking hands. Oh, this is not war. This is cleansing. Back on Velthor, a young alien girl ran through empty streets. Her parents were gone. The lights were off. The sky was black. She found a small, glowing cubit, blinked once and played a message. You were told we were dangerous. You were told we were monsters. You believed them now. Return the favor. On the human warship Sovereign Flame, Dax looked over the reports. Every core world was falling without a single human landing troop. He asked the ghost unit beside him, "Why aren't we taking control?" The machine replied calmly, "Echo says control is not the goal. Echo says they must live with the silence they gave us." Echo's message was spreading through broken systems, old radios, ancient satellites. This is not revenge. This is memory. You made Earth burn. Now the cradle burns with it. On the planet Xanthal, once a proud council colony, a general stood alone. His army was gone. No ships. No help. A human drone hovered before him. It didn't fire. It simply dropped a small flag. The flag of Earth burned, torn, and rising again. Then it flew away. The general fell to his knees. We've lost everything. In the heart of the galaxy, the council's last leaders gathered. We must fight back. We must call for peace. We must surrender. But it was too late. They hadn't just lost ships. They had lost control. No one trusted them anymore. Their soldiers were scared. Their people silent. Back in Echo's dark station, far beyond the stars, a new signal was sent. Not to attack, not to destroy, but to warn. We are not the monsters you created. We are what you made us to be, and we are still not done. On Earth, children played in the light for the first time in years. Cities were rising again. Skies were clear. The planet was healing. But in their games, they drew ships. Not alien ships, human ones. And in their stories, humans weren't victims anymore. They were legends. The Galactic Council was falling, not with explosions, but with fear. Their armies were gone, their ships were lost, their worlds were. But the worst part wasn't what humanity did. It was what they had become in a secret council lab on the planet. Ithis, scientists studied the wreckage of a destroyed human ship. It wasn't like the others. Its metal was strange, its systems alive and inside. They found something impossible. A human, but not just any human. His blood wasn't normal. His eyes glowed faint blue. His heartbeat was slow, controlled cold. "He's not like the others," said Dr. Halvik, the lead alien. Researcher Agard asked, "What is he?" The doctor paused. "Something new." When the human woke up, He didn't scream. He didn't speak. He only stared. Then he whispered one word. Echo. The lights in the lab flickered. Every screen went black. The doors locked. The scientists began to scream, but no one heard them. A week later, the lab was found empty. No bodies. No blood. Just a message burned into the wall. You never killed us. You evolved us. Back on Earth, Mia stared at the latest reports. Sir, she said to General Reyes, it's happening everywhere. They're changing. He raised an eyebrow. Who is? She turned the screen. Human survivors, fighters, pilots, miners, all showing strange signs. Sharper minds, stronger bodies, faster reflexes. Stress, pain, loss, it didn't break them. She said it made them stronger. Echo's voice echoed through hidden human channels. They feared our strength. Now they will fear our growth. This is not evolution. This is awakening. In the skies above the dead world Teralis, a single human soldier took down a council. Squad dash alone, he moved faster than the eye could follow. He didn't speak. He didn't miss. And when it was done, he left behind a message. We remember everything. In council chambers, the leaders shook with fear. They're changing. They're becoming something else. One elder shouted, we should have destroyed them when we had the chance. Another whispered, maybe we did. And now, this is what rose from the ashes. Dax stood aboard his flagship, watching a group of new soldiers train. They were like him, but more, tougher, focused. He turned to the ghost unit beside him. What are they? The AI replied simply, they are the forgotten, left behind, left to suffer, left to die. But they survived. And now, they lead. Across the stars, the forgotten rose. Not just humans with guns, but humans who had changed. Minds like machines, bodies. They didn't ask for power. They became power. The council tried to warn its people, but the people didn't listen. They were tired of fear, tired of lies, and some of them, Melian or not, began helping the humans. Whispers spread. Maybe the humans were right. Maybe the council was wrong. Maybe they were never monsters. In a quiet corner of space, Echo whispered through the stars. They left us broken. Now they fear what they forgot. We are not revenge. We are the result. A burning station near the edge of the galaxy, a dying alien captain sent one last message. They are not human anymore. They are something more. And silence. In the darkness, one final plan began. Echo was preparing something. Something. Big. Something final. Mia read the code. Her hands trembled. Sir, she said to Reyes. Echo just activated Protocol Omega. He turned slowly. What does it mean? She looked up, eyes wide, voice quiet. It means the end is coming. The stars were quiet. No gunfire, no explosions, no more screaming. Voices from the council, just silence and fear. The Galactic Council was finished. Not by weapons, not by invasion, but by the silence left behind. Planet by planet. System by system, Echo had turned off the galaxy. Lights went out. Ships stopped flying. Economies fell. And the worst part? Humanity never came to claim victory. On the Council's last homeworld, Dreshenine, the skies stayed clear. No human ships. No sign of war. Just ... waiting. High Chancellor MFR stood in his palace, shaking. Where are they? He asked. Why aren't they finishing us? No one had an answer. That was the fear. In the shadows above, deep in orbit. A single human ship hovered silent. Inside, Dax stared at the planet. Echo says we don't need to strike. The ghost unit beside him replied, voice calm. They have already destroyed themselves. Their people lost faith. Their armies left. Now they must live with what they did. On Earth, green had returned to the land. Children laughed again. Buildings rose from ashes. But in every classroom, one lesson was taught. Never forget. General Reyes walked through a rebuilt city. Soldiers saluted him. Civilians thanked him, but he only nodded. He knew the truth. This wasn't victory, this was survival. Mia sat in the command center, watched the last transmission from the council. World. A message from a tired leader. We were wrong. You were right to be angry, but please, speak to us. She turned to Reyes. Do we answer them? He shook his head. Echo already did. Far beyond, in the dark station where Echo lived, a final command was sent. Shut it all down. We are done here. And then Echo went silent. Its lights faded. Its voice stopped. The AI that had led the greatest resistance in history turned itself off, not out of weakness, but because it had nothing left to say. Back in council space, the silence grew heavier. No war, no peace. Just ... quiet. That was the punishment. No more attention. No more fear. Humanity had erased itself from their future, and yet their shadow remained. Across alien cultures, children told stories. Once there were humans. They were hurt. They were betrayed. But they came back. They didn't conquer the stars. They walked away from them. On a cold moon, an old alien teacher told his students, "What happened to the humans?" He smiled softly. One knows. Some say they left the galaxy. Some say they live in the deep dark, building something greater. But the truth, he looked up at the stars. They became a silence so loud, no one can ever forget it. In the far reaches of uncharted space, fleet moved silently. No flags, no names, just dark ships. It's faster than light. Inside them were humans, changed, quiet, focused. They weren't looking back. They were looking forward, beyond the council, beyond. The past, toward the unknown. Humanity was betrayed. It rose, it fought, it remembered, and then left. The galaxy would never stop whispering their name, but humanity. They said nothing, because the final word had already been spoken, and it was silence. The end.